I'm Sophie, 15, from a Minnesota town of 900, built around a wide, glassy lake. It's the heart of the town. People fish, swim, and paddle boats in summer. I loved walking by it, especially at night when it was calm and quiet. But one August night, under a full moon, something happened that made me see that lake differently. I was walking home from my friend Ellie's house around 11 p.m. The shortest path went through the lakefront park, where the water reflected the moonlight like a mirror. It was peaceful, but that night, everything felt too still. No frogs croaking, no breeze, just silence. As I walked along the shore, I heard a sound, a soft, sweet singing, like a lullaby, coming from the lake. I stopped, looking for a boat or someone on the dock, but the water was empty. No lights, no people. The song grew louder, words I couldn't make out, but it felt like it was calling me, tugging at my chest. I stepped closer, my sneakers sinking into the muddy shore. Ripples formed on the water, small at first, then bigger, like something was moving just below. Then I saw her, a woman standing in the middle of the lake, her white dress floating around her like she was on solid ground. Her face was pale, her eyes dark and hollow, but her voice was beautiful, weaving through the air, pulling me in. I couldn't move, my feet stuck like they were glued to the ground. The water lapped at my toes, and I felt this urge to walk in, to get closer to her. She raised a hand, beckoning, and my body moved without my say-so. The cold water hit my knees, then my waist, then my chest. I was chest deep, the song louder in my head, when I heard my dad's voice yelling my name from the road. He'd been driving around, worried when I didn't text I was home. His voice broke the spell. I stumbled back to shore, soaking wet, my heart racing. I ran to his car, babbling about the woman and the song. He said it was probably the moonlight, or my imagination, that I'd been out too late. I wanted to believe him, but I knew what I saw. The next day, I asked Mr. Larson, an old fisherman who'd lived by the lake forever. His face got serious, and he told me about the singer, a spirit who appeared on full moon nights, luring people into the water to drown. He said those who heard her song and escaped were lucky, but they'd always feel her pull. I don't go near the lake at night anymore. I stick to the main roads, even if it takes longer. Sometimes when I'm near water or it's quiet, I hear that song in my head, faint but clear, calling my name. I check the moon now, avoid the lake when it's full, and pray I never see her again. I'm Clara, 14, living in a tiny Nebraska town of about 600 people. It's the kind of place where everyone knows your name, and Sundays mean piling into the old white church for service. Our house sits a few streets away from that church, which has a small, overgrown graveyard out back. Kids always whispered it was haunted, with tales of ghosts wandering among the tombstones. I never bought into those stories, thought they were just silly rumors kids made up to scare each other. But one humid July night, something happened that changed my mind forever. I was biking home from my friend Jenny's house around 10 p.m. It was a warm evening, the air thick and heavy, like a storm was brewing, though the sky was clear with stars twinkling above. The shortest route home cut past the church, a path I'd taken 100 times without a second thought. As I pedaled by the graveyard's rusty iron gate, I noticed a shadow move in the corner of my eye. It was tall, thin, and blurry, like a person but not quite right, almost like it was made of smoke. I slowed my bike, thinking it might be some older kid messing around, trying to spook me. "Who's there?" I called out, my voice a little shaky. No answer came, just the chirping of crickets. The shadow slipped behind a cracked tombstone, and my stomach twisted. I told myself it was nothing, maybe a trick of the moonlight, but curiosity got the better of me. I hopped off my bike, propped it against a tree, and pulled out my phone to use the flashlight. My heart was pounding, but I wasn't about to let some shadow scare me off. I stepped closer to the gate, shining the light into the graveyard. The beam caught rows of weathered headstones, some so old you couldn't read the names anymore. Then I saw it, a figure standing between two tall graves, facing away from me. It wore a long, tattered coat that hung loosely on its frame, and its head was bald, unnaturally smooth, glinting in the moonlight. My breath caught in my throat. This wasn't a kid playing a prank. I stood frozen, my phone shaking in my hand. Then the figure turned, slow and deliberate, and I swear my heart stopped. Where its face should have been was just a blank, pale surface. No eyes, no mouth, nothing. It was like staring at a mannequin, but worse, because it moved. I screamed, dropped my phone, and scrambled back to my bike. My hands fumbled with the handlebars as I heard footsteps behind me. Fast, heavy, like someone running on gravel. I didn't dare look back. I pedaled harder than I ever had, my legs burning, tears stinging my eyes. The footsteps kept pace, crunching closer, until I finally reached my street. I flew into our driveway, dropped the bike, and sprinted inside, locking the door behind me. I sat on the floor, gasping, waiting for my parents to get home. When they did, I told them everything, but my mom just hugged me and said I was tired, that being alone in the dark can make you see things. My dad checked outside but found nothing. No footprints, no signs of anyone. The next morning, I went back for my phone. It was lying by the graveyard gate, screen cracked but still working. The grass around it was untouched. No footprints or flattened patches, like no one had been there at all. I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I asked my grandma, who'd lived in town her whole life. Her face went pale, and she sat me down. She said the churchyard had old stories about a watcher, a thing that guarded the graves at night. It didn't like people getting too close after dark, and those who saw it were marked, changed somehow. She said her own cousin saw it when she was young and never slept well again, always feeling like something was watching her. Grandma told me to stay away from the church at night. No exceptions. I haven't biked that route since. I take the long way home now, even if it adds 15 minutes. Sometimes, when I pass the church in the daytime, I glance at the graveyard and feel a chill, like something staring back. I don't know what that thing was, but it wasn't human. And deep down, I'm terrified it knows my name. I'm Ethan, 16, from a small Maine town of about 800 people, tucked away in thick, endless woods. The forest surrounds everything, and locals know better than to wander in after dark. Stories float around about people getting lost, hearing strange noises, or just feeling off. I never paid much attention, thought it was just small town talk. But one chilly September night, I learned those woods hold secrets I'll never understand. My friends and I were at a bonfire near the edge of town, roasting marshmallows and messing around. It was around 9 p.m., and we got bored, daring each other to do something brave. Someone suggested exploring the woods, deeper than we'd ever gone. I wasn't scared. I'd hiked those trails plenty during the day, catching frogs and climbing trees. So we grabbed our flashlights, zipped up our hoodies, and headed in, laughing and shoving each other. About 20 minutes in, the mood changed. The woods got quieter. No crickets, no owls, just our footsteps crunching on pine needles. Then we saw them, flickering lights moving through the trees, bright and steady, not like fireflies. They bobbed like lanterns, but no one was holding them. We thought maybe campers were out there, so we followed, curious. The lights stayed just out of reach, leading us deeper, away from the trail. My friend Mia whispered we should turn back, but it was like the lights were pulling us, almost hypnotic. A low hum started, like a generator, making the air feel charged, like before a lightning strike. My skin prickled, and my flashlight flickered. Then I saw it. A figure standing among the trees, outlined by the glowing lights. It was tall, with long, thin arms that hung past its knees, unnatural and wrong. It didn't move, just stood there, watching us. I pointed, my voice stuck in my throat. My friend saw it too and screamed. The figure tilted its head, and the lights pulsed brighter, the hum growing louder, vibrating in my chest. We ran, tripping over roots, branches snagging our clothes. The hum followed, echoing through the trees, and I swore I heard footsteps behind us, too heavy to be human. We didn't stop until we stumbled back to the bonfire, panting and shaking. The lights were gone, the hum silent. We sat there, catching our breath, too freaked out to talk much. None of us wanted to admit what we'd seen. We didn't tell anyone, scared they'd think we were making it up or, worse, laugh at us. A few weeks later, I overheard my dad talking to a neighbor about hunters seeing strange lights in the woods, feeling watched, or hearing a hum that made their hair stand up. They said the forest had always been wrong at night, that old loggers used to talk about things living deep in the trees, things that didn't like visitors. No one knew what they were, but everyone agreed. Stay out after dark. I haven't gone back into those woods, not even in daylight. I stick to the roads now, keep my music low, and check over my shoulder when it's quiet. Sometimes I dream about those lights, moving closer, and that figure watching me. I wake up sweating, feeling like it's still out there, waiting for me to step back into the trees. If these stories creeped you out, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Your support matters a lot.